me, but because of our chefs. It's an incredibly hard competition in which 4 chefs show up, and there are 3 rounds, appetizer, entree, and dessert, and for each round they get a mystery basket with 4 ingredients that they must use. They have to use all 4, it's usually 4, and they're ingredients that really don't go together very well. So we might give, and sometimes they're exotic, like sea urchin, and sometimes they're weird, like Doritos, which is not food, really.
What else? I guess I should just cook some stuff. So why don't I start with, I'll start with this really simple dish that I have virtually no work to do in order to make it. For barbecues and for dinner parties, one of the things that I love to do that really saves you a lot of energy and trouble when you're serving your friends are salads that you can make ahead that don't have to be hot or cold. Bean salads, corn salads. I love to do this. And it was just this summer that I discovered by reading someplace online that a way to make corn on the cob, a way to get the husks off, a way to get the silks off more easily. If you nuke it, if you microwave it in the husk for about 3 minutes, you're cooking it, of course, but it also becomes much, much easier to brush these obnoxious silks off of here. So I like to microwave the corn for a few minutes. It's almost the only thing I do in the microwave, aside from defrosting chicken stock. And then throw this on the grill for a little while to get some color on it. I guess I should just do that. Well, but then it's already been done, and I'll take this one. I'll save that for later. So, but you basically have cooked it by the time you microwave it for 3 minutes. Throw it on the grill just to get a little charred flavor on it, get a little color, and you'll end up with something that looks kind of like that. And so I just take a few ears of corn. That looks like only one. A little bit of diced beefsteak tomato, extra virgin olive oil. Don't even need to whisk the vinaigrette together ahead of time. Oh, that's for grilling the corn. Let's see. I want to get to the chimichurri sauce. A little bit of lime juice or lemon juice. A little garlic. This is definitely too much. Bam. You know. People laugh every time I do that, and I kind of feel like I owe Emerald a royalty. A little bit of salt and pepper. I usually use kosher salt just because you can kind of. Chefs, I'm not a chef, I'm just a cookbook author. But chefs like kosher salt because you can sort of feel it in your fingers. You can feel how much you're putting on the food. They also like to salt from way up in the air. For some reason, I don't know why. No, because it sort of distributes it evenly, and because it creates the maximum amount of mess in the kitchen. I had a barbecue this summer with a bunch of the judges from Chopped. They came to my house, which is a very smart thing to do because they bring amazing food. I had Amanda Freitag, Jeffrey Zakarian, and Chris Santos and Mark Murphy. There were 2 problems with that, though. One is that when chefs come to your house, you quickly learn that they think all of your platters are way too small. Way, they need, they're chefs. The other problem is that Chris Santos shows up with a cooler that would go from about here to about here. It's like a coffin with like 47 racks of ribs and a giant tub of shrimp. They think big, chefs. But the food was great. Sun-Times guy before. I love the Sun-Times, but it's not. Newspaper's not doing so well these days. So a little bit of basil. You could go with tarragon. You could go with parsley. You could go with a combination. Stir that up in an appropriately sized bowl. Unlike this one. That's a little soupy. I think I needed more corn for that one. But anyway, yours will be proportioned correctly, and all will be well. So that's the kind of thing that you can make a day ahead, keep it in the fridge, put it out when it's time to serve. No muss, no fuss. And it's always fun to work in somebody else's kitchen. So the other dish I'm going to make is a skirt steak with a chimichurri sauce that I'm putting a little bit of a variation on by roasting jalapenos, or grilling them, actually. These have been grilled a little bit, but I'll grill them some more to get some char on them. I just love that flavor. And I'm also adding a little bit of red wine to the chimichurri. Have you all had or made chimichurri sauce? It's a sauce made with herbs and olive oil. It's and garlic and a little vinegar. It's bright and vivid. It's a gorgeous bright green color, and it's super easy. And you're going to walk out of here with enough of it in your head that it's very forgiving. You could go home and make it in your sleep, and it is so delicious on steak. I'm going to make it with half parsley, 2 cups of parsley, lots and lots of herbs here. These are all going to get ground down into nothing. I'm sorry, that was cilantro. And a couple cups of 2 cups parsley, 2 cups cilantro. Cram that in there, and we'll hope that it works. I like to roast the jalapenos for that char. These guys were already pretty much there anyhow. And then, I don't even know what this is, but let's put that into. Once again, garlic. You want a lot of garlic in chimichurri. And a couple other little variations that I like to do with it is to put a little bit of red wine, which gives it some acidity. In this case, I'm using Robert Mondavi Private Selection Meritage, which is really too good to cook with, but actually you need to use good wine when you cook, of course. Garbage in, garbage out. Yummy in, yummy out. Maybe that should be my catchphrase. No. I'm still looking for one. In addition to the wine, just a little bit of red wine vinegar. This is about a tablespoon and a half. A nice little dose of lime juice, again for that brightness and acidity. A little bit of water, that's just to help give us some liquidity, which I'm sure we all could use a little more of right about now. It's a recession joke. That's really always fun. Okay. And then about half a cup of extra virgin olive oil. And I think I'm foreshadowing the fact that I am going to blend this, and then that's it. And the only thing that's tricky about it is that sometimes you got to mash it a little bit to make it all go. One time on Chopped, a chef stuck a spoon into the blender and almost took his finger off. And there it goes. I know it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, but I do. I do, seriously. I've made this before. Okay, now I have chimichurri on my face. Okay. That's a little more like it. And once it calms down and the foaminess goes away, it'll be more of a pretty green color. So, I guess I'm doing this backwards. I haven't even put the steak on. What's the matter with me? I can cook. I actually just finished another cookbook. We just photographed it in my house. It comes out in May. So if you'd be so inclined, I'd be very appreciative if you were to shoplift it, or because even if you steal it, that means the bookstore will order more. In fact, I think I would probably get a royalty either way. You know what I'm missing now? Is the actual steak. That's what I'm missing. Excuse me, hey Paul, can I have some raw skirt steak, please? No. You cooked all the steak? Oh man.
I think I've been chopped.
You've been chopped. Get out of here. Okay.
Skirt steak or flank steak?
I like skirt steak and flank steak, both very much. And they're kind of similar, but skirt steak is usually a little thinner. And but the key with both of them, they're tough. If you can't cook them, you can't cook them well. You can't cook them well done, or they'll be too tough to eat. So you have to cook them medium to medium rare. So if you don't like your steak that way, this isn't the cut for you. But if you do, you're rewarded with just a ton of beef flavor, and the cost savings is none. Slice it across the grain, and as we're always saying on Chopped, you need to let the meat rest for about 10 minutes before you cut it, and don't worry about it cooling off. Maybe put some foil loosely over it. That when you heat a piece of protein, the juices get, I think they get forced into the center or pulled out to the outside. I forget which. If you cut it too soon, all those juices are going to pour out onto the cutting board. You hear us talk about that all the time if you watch Chopped. Good candidate for this. Also, there's a lot of sort of sweet, buttery quality to corn that I think makes sense with chard. Maybe a little bit of citrusy notes in there as well. Sauvignon Blanc might be nice too. But the star of the show here, and please feel free to eat whenever you like, of course, is our Robert Mondavi Private Selection Meritage. And the Meritage works nicely with that because the tannins in the Cabernet, you know when you drink a big red wine and you get kind of that dried out feeling on your palate, that's from something in the wines called tannins. Cabernet Sauvignon is fairly high in tannins, which makes it work well with fatty things, with cheese, with steaks. You know what? You got the plastic forks and no knives. Feel free to just grab it and go for it. I hope you're finding the Meritage to be a nice pairing with the steak. Now, I don't get too technical about wine stuff, and we have people here who can, if you like that sort of thing. I'm just here to encourage people to try wines, and if you